Hi, I'm Henry Wong. We're here to talk about how to buy at auction. So auction, what that means is if you end up being the successful buyer, there's no finance, no billing and pest, no cooling off period. That means you're legally obligated to buy. Obviously, that actually means that you're the highest bidder subject to the reserve. Now, the first and foremost you need to check out is look at your finances. Now, obviously, you're paying physical cash. You know exactly how much money you have in the bank. If you're not paying physical cash and you need to borrow, like most other buyers, I would suggest you get a pre-approval. So what the pre-approval does is the bank's going to go, hey, based on your finances, we are prepared to lend you X amount of dollars. Now, if you don't have a pre-approval, doesn't mean that you can't actually bid at auction. You just need to know where your limits are and roughly where you can go. Number two is the building and pest. Generally, with an auction campaign, the agent has a building and pest report. Have a look at the report and see, are you happy with the report? If so, then great. If there is no report, I strongly recommend you get a building and pest inspector, have a look at it prior to auction. So if the agent has a report, you can say, I'm happy with it. If not, you can always pay for your own report and organize with the agent to get a building and pest inspector in. If you're happy with that, then great. So at the end of the day, you're happy with what you buy. That's the important thing. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about is price. So, with regards to price, there are three things. There's obviously the price that you love to pay. So if you actually got this price, you'd be, wow, I'm so happy, this is a great buy. Number two, there's a price you don't want to lose it for. And the third is, look, I've reached my financial capacity. I may need to borrow some money from friends and family or from my parents. So that's the extra cash. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, the property that you're after, you believe the fair market value is around 1 mil. And if you get it for 1 mil, you're happy as Larry. This is an absolute great buy. But because there's actually a few other buyers involved and there's a bit of competition, you're thinking, okay, I can stretch a bit, but the most I can really go to financially is 1.06 million. So $1,060,000. And of all the properties that you've seen the past 6 months, you've been to dozens of properties and you're thinking, this one ticks all the boxes. I don't know when another property like this is going to come up. In fact, it's quite rare. I don't want to lose it, but I can't go any further because I've reached my limit. You need to think about, okay, who else can help me out? Can my parents help me out? Can my friends help me out? Relatives help me out? Sometimes I've actually seen parents help out their kids as well, or even friends. And let's say, for example, your parents go, hey, I'll lend you an extra 40K. So this 40K is the extra cash in this example. That means your real max limit is 1.1 mil, the one with the extra cash. So when you go to bid at auction, just remember the three different prices or three different figures. The one that you love to pay, that, hey, this is a great buy. The two, the one that you don't want to lose it for. And if the competition is quite intense, you say, I need to get some extra cash to get this across the line to own this property. So in real estate, just remember, the second prize is the brochure. The first prize is the key. So getting gold is all that matters. So there you have it. These are the three different figures that need to come in mind when you're looking to buy at auction. In order to bid at the auction, you need to register the bid. Now, when you register the bid, doesn't mean you have to bid, but it gives you the option to bid. So when you register the bid, make sure you bring your photo ID, and it could be your driver's license or your passport. Now, just remember, if it's just you yourself, that's fine. Bring your driver's license or passport. If it's you and a partner, remember, both of you need to bring your driver's license or passport. So whoever's actually on the registration form is the same name or names on the contract. So you can't go, you know what, I want to register, but my partner is not here. Can I put my partner's name in the contract? The answer is no. your partner needs to be there, or someone that can sign for them that has a power of attorney, and those paperwork needs to be provided. So that's registering to bid. One more thing is, when you register to bid, make sure your driver's license or passport is actually current. Yeah, it can't be expired. So just double and triple check on that. When registering to bid, you can also have a telephone bid. So sometimes we get people that are traveling and they go, you know what, I can't physically make it, but I can bid on the telephone. You can register for that. I've seen people that bid on behalf for their friends or family. So it's called bid on behalf. So these are the only other options. So you can either register to bid yourself, telephone bid, or bid on behalf. Now, when you're actually starting to bid, so just remember the auction can start off with anyone, or the auctioneer starts with themselves. It's entirely up to you how you bid, but here's some ideas to send a strong message to the market, especially if you really want the property. One quick tip is you want to bid first. Why? Because if you bid first, you're sending a message to the market and to all the other bidders, I want this property, hands off. Bid first and bid with a passion and confidence. So go bid first. I'll give you an example. Let's say the property that you're after, you believe fair market value is $1 million. Bid first, you can bid at any price. You know, there is no right or wrong answer for this one. You can go 800,000, okay? Now what if another buyer comes back out and says 850? If the other buyer goes 850, you can go 900,000. You want to bid back very fast, and you bid back fast. So bid back fast. What this does, it sends a strong message to the other bidder or bidders that, hey, game on. You want this house? Well, I want it more than you. Now, obviously, when you're bidding, bear in mind of your financial capacity as well. So bid first and bid back fast. So these are two common, ideas or strategies that you can use. Why? It's more of a, send a strong message to the competition that you're here to stay. And I guess you could say it's in a way, a scare tactic to the other bidders as well. So now, one of the scenarios that can happen is if you're the only bidder. When I say only bidder, you know, may not be the only registered bidder, but the only active bidder. So the only person that puts their hand up. Sometimes I've seen buyers go, you know, I'm the only bidder, why am I competing with myself? Well, you're not. You're competing with all the other buyers out there subject to finance, because more often than not, there are buyers out there who are waiting that if it gets passed in, they will sign subject to finance. So just bear that in mind. If you're the only active bidder, you are controlling this environment. Why? Because no one else is putting their hand up with no conditions. So no finance, no building a pest, no cooling off period, no other special conditions like subject to sale my home. So in this environment, you have no competition. So it is your interest to try to secure the property. If you don't end up securing a property in this environment, well, the floodgate is open. You have to compete with everyone else that has conditions, and not necessarily you end up buying the property. So I hope you bear that in mind. That's if you find yourself as the only bidder. Now, number 6. Now, when a property is passed in, that means it did not sell at auction. So when the property gets passed in, all it means is that in the auction environment, at that point in time, no one is prepared to make an unconditional offer. So subject to finance, subject to building a pest, subject to sale of my home, and cooling off period. That's all it means. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, look, no one's prepared to bid or it got passed in at X amount of dollars. It doesn't necessarily mean that the property is worth X amount of dollars. All it means is that no one else is in a position to bid with no conditions at a certain price level. That's all that means. So bear that in mind. And saying all that, I just wanted to say good luck with the auction. All the best. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact me.